The British government is expected to announce a $15 million new UK government funding for Africa at the ongoing Commonwealth's Head of Government meeting in Kigali, Rwanda. According to the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Catriona Laing, this is a new developing countries trading scheme aimed at supporting African countries. At a joint media briefing with the Rwandan ambassador to Nigeria in Abuja, Laing says it is encouraging trade between the Commonwealth nations to help improve collective value from $13 to $19.5 trillion by 2027.
The more we can lower the barriers to trade between us as Commonwealth countries, the more we can boost our collective GDP. There's a particular announcement that the Prime Minister will make today, which is about a new developing country trading scheme, what's going to be called a Platinum Partnership Trade Alliance, supported by Centres of Excellence. Another really important area for the UK is working together on cyber threats, and the Prime Minister will be announcing 15 million of new UK funding to help countries deal with the cyber threat, particularly now from malign actors, including Russia.
Following COP26 in Glasgow, CHOGM will engage in deep reflections as to how our nations can contribute in dealing with the issue of global warming and the environment, and how they constitute limitation to sustainable development.
Well, let's cross live to Kigali now, the Rwandan capital, where our correspondent Laila Johnson-Salami is waiting to give us an update on the day's event. Hello, Laila. Great to see you. What was on the agenda at CHOGM today?
Great to see you too. It was a very full day at CHOGM 2022 today, the official fourth day of this week. And I'm just going to run you through the events that went on throughout the day. Started off with a sports breakfast that was hosted this morning in anticipation of the upcoming Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, followed by the First Lady of Rwanda hosting an event on unity and reconciliation. Now, this is coming at a very important time. Let's not forget that on Monday, the East African community met to decide on what to do about the situation in the DRC, whereas we know M23 rebels have been a problem on that side. Rwanda has said that they're not involved. The DRC have been accusing Rwanda of sponsoring the M23 rebels. It's still unclear as to whether Rwandan troops are going to be part of the troops that are now being sent to the DRC, which was decided by the EAC on Monday. But we do know that that situation is one that the entire East African community is trying to sort out. So this event on unity and reconciliation that the First Lady held today was a very important one. There was also the Commonwealth Foreign Affairs Ministers meeting. This is when all foreign ministers from the different Commonwealth countries come together to speak about different things regarding the economy, socio-economic development, sustainable development, etc. We'll know the outcomes more of that on Saturday. And there was an event on antimicrobial resistance, and there was also an event on malaria and neglected tropical diseases, or rather a summit. Now, this was one of the largest events of the day. There were several keynote speakers who were there. President Muhammadu Buhari was supposed to have spoken at this event. However, he didn't speak at this event, but we do know now that the Minister of Health, Honorable Dr. Osage Ehanire, did stand in, and he was there to speak at this particular event. And we'll get to that in a moment to discuss the outcomes and the different commitments that were made at this summit. There was also an event on keeping 1.5 alive. Now, at COP26 last year, part of the Glasgow Pact was the agreement to keep global warming at 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels and no more than that. So this event was to look at how much progress had been made and what needs to be done by Commonwealth countries in anticipation of COP27, which is coming up later on this year in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. There was also a high-level side event on violence against women and girls. According to the Commonwealth, since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, violence against women and girls has increased. Domestic violence has gone up by a rate of 500% across Commonwealth countries. That is very, very large. So this was another important event where the Commonwealth Secretariat came together to launch a No More campaign, pretty much saying no more to what's going on and what can we do to ensure that we bring this figure down. Because yes, since the start of the pandemic across all Commonwealth states, domestic violence has gone up by 500%. And it was the final day of the business forum today. There was a session on investing in Rwanda, which was a very important one for the Rwandan government. There was also a session on future cities, sustainable urbanization. Again, President Muhammadu Buhari was announced as someone who was supposed to be a speaker at this event. I believe that Dr. Osage Hanire was, though, present at the business forum today. There was also a discussion on investing in Botswana, which was also another important one that went on today. So several events went on today. It was a very packed day. And this evening as well, the Commonwealth Fashion Week has been going on all week. So this evening, loads of CHOGM delegates headed over to that to enjoy themselves and also to head out and see the city a bit. So even though it's nighttime, activities are still ongoing and it seems as though it's not stopping till the end of the week.
Well, Laila, talking about events taking place on the sidelines, tell us more about the Malaria Summit. Were any commitments made?
Absolutely. So just for some context here, in 2018, Commonwealth leaders committed to halving malaria across the Commonwealth by 2023. Now, the summit was to review how much progress had been made so far and also to increase calls for funding to end malaria and neglected tropical diseases. And of course, as well, to recognize the importance of investing in the fight against these diseases too. So over to commitments. The Rwandan health minister today announced that $1.9 billion has been committed today by partners in the fight against ending malaria and neglected tropical diseases as well. Melinda French Gates was also present today, and she spoke announcing that the Gates Foundation was also going to be donating a large sum of money to the campaign to end malaria. We also heard from Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who spoke wonderfully on the fact that, you know, when her daughter was first born, her biggest fear was not wanting her daughter to catch malaria. So while other children were probably smelling of other scents, her daughter was smelling of insecticide. But her daughter is 7 years old now, or rather for the first 7 years of her daughter's life, she never caught malaria. And she gave a very profound speech about how leadership and political will is so important in all of this. And one thing that was reiterated today a lot in the Malaria Summit was the fact that if we want to end malaria, we have to be willing to break the bank. It's not going to come at no cost or at a cheap cost. It's going to be quite expensive, but it can be done if the political will is there. So those are some commitments that we saw today. I just want to get over, bear with me for a moment. I want to get some notes across to you. So Melinda Gates, onto what she said when she spoke. She first of all thanked Kagame for his leadership and his foresight. And she spoke about the fact that only 15 people last year were affected by guinea worm. So she was speaking about progress that has happened so far in tackling neglected tropical diseases. And that's another theme that was recurrent today in the Malaria Summit. The fact that there's so much progress that has been made. Let's not forget that we now have the first malaria-approved vaccine by the WHO, which came out last year. So there is progress that's being made, but there's still so much more to go. But the main commitment here would have been the commitment to ending malaria by the year 2030. Now, it sounds ambitious, definitely sounds ambitious, but with the right political will, it can be done. So Commonwealth leaders are now looking to end malaria by the year 2030, which is pretty much in 7.5 years' time. So it's going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of political will, and really putting your energy towards doing that. But again, it's something that Commonwealth leaders made clear that they are committed to doing. So that's good news for Africa. Today at the Malaria Summit, the fact that, 40 countries so far have been able to end malaria was something that was echoed across the room. The fact China is the last country to have ended malaria, and people saying that if all of these countries could have ended malaria, we can do it on the African continent too. So it was there was a lot of energy in the room, and it was very progressive. The conversation certainly was.
Well, thank you very much, Laila Johnson-Salami there, reporting live from Kigali, Rwanda.